Texans may have just signed one of the biggest draft steals in the NFL, and if this player becomes what Houston thinks he can be, this contract is going to look like an absolute joke in a few years, and the Texans continue to win the offseason. Welcome back to another video of Texans Digest. I'm your host, Russell Raunam, and the Texans made a big announcement today, signing a very lucrative deal to star second-round pick, first-round talent, albeit Kayden McDonald. Adam Scheffler announced today that the Houston Texans signed Kayden McDonald to a full 4-year, fully guaranteed contract that's worth $12.9 million. And look, that is a deal that is not only lucrative to the team, gives Kayden McDonald the chance to really kind of prove himself, but we all know who Kayden McDonald really is. He's an All-American, unanimous All-American, so be it. First-round talent draft pick that really kind of just fell to the Texans' lap in the second round. When we take a look at his PFF grades this year, Kayden McDonald was ranked 8th out of all defensive linemen with an 87.6 PFF grade, and we know him as a 1-2 first and second down defensive tackle, elite run stuffer. He has a little bit of work to do in the pass game, but someone who's going to clog up all the runs on early down situations against the opposing offenses, and someone who's just more than hungry to prove himself in the NFL. When we take a look back at his time when he was at the NFL draft, if you guys don't know, he actually was there present in the green room, and with him not getting drafted the very first night, it's a little embarrassing, when you come in thinking you're going to be a first-round draft talent and, things don't go your way in the first 32 selections. It's a very easy kind of get discouraged. But Kayden McDonald woke up the next morning, got dressed, came back to the green room in Pittsburgh when the NFL draft was taking place this year, and stuck it out. And, that just kind of shows his character. It shows really how much he is just hungry to get after it by whichever team gets, the chance to choose him. And the Texans were very lucky enough to be that team. In an article written here, it said, McDonald's in the groom during the first round of the NFL draft. When he got passed over, he was convinced by NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell to return for the second night of the draft. That led up to an emotional moment where McDonald got the life-changing call from the Texans after they traded up 2 spots to land him. And when we take a look a little bit at, a little bit more of a breakdown of McDonald, when he made his first NFL practice earlier this week, it was obvious how much McDonald was putting into his rookie season, and the former Ohio State consensus All-American defensive tackle, Big Ten Conference Defensive Lineman of the Year, really should bolster that top-ranked defense in the league. Once projected as a first-round draft pick and selected in the second round with the 36th overall selection, McDonald was set to make his ambitions on the field kind of as a banner that would make history, for the Houston Texans. Never reaching an AFC Conference Championship before, but we have the roster to do so, especially on the defensive side of the ball, where McDonald will be able to fit right in. And the best thing about this signing, obviously we're going to sign our second-round draft pick, is the deal we got him at. So we touched a little bit on it's a 4-year, $12.9 million deal. Where do you guys think that ranks amongst all defensive tackles in the NFL? Maybe top 20, top 30, maybe top 50? Oh, you're all wrong. He is paid the 70th highest defensive tackle in the NFL. And that's just honestly mind-boggling to me. I took a little bit of a snapshot on who he's kind of by. And, you take a look at Byron Murphy, very successful in the Seahawks. A few other names, maybe Mozzie Smith, a high draft pick from the Cowboys that got traded over to the Jets this offseason. Solomon Thomas has been in the league a little bit, made some moves, made some noise, a little bit of an NFL journeyman. But no one really else sticks out. And I just think at the price the Texans are getting Kayden McDonald, let alone just getting him in general, is going to make an instant impact on this team, and no one is going to be more hungry than him to really just prove all the haters wrong. I think it's honestly laughable the Texans got him in the second round. In videos earlier this offseason, I was talking about getting Kayden McDonald, at 26, or maybe even having to trade up to get him. And so just the fact we got him, early second round is truly just mind-boggling to me. But I want to say a quick thank you to our sponsor today, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is now sponsoring all Digest Media videos. And when you deposit $5 into PrizePicks using code DIGEST, I'll leave a link down in the description below for you guys. You'll get $50 instantly, and there's plenty to play through with PrizePicks this time of year. You have the NBA playoffs and NHL playoffs that have been happening every single night. Baseball is finally back. The season is underway, and you can even make predictions for the NFL season. I know we have a few months down the road, but it's never too early to lock in some good squares if you find them, at a good value. So I have some picks later in the video I'll talk about for you guys that I really think have a good chance of hitting. But please sign up for PrizePicks. Link down in the description using code DIGEST. It's a phenomenal app. I use it just about every single day. So thank you so much to PrizePicks for sponsoring today's video. But when we take a look at a few quotes about Kayden McDonald, first coming from the source himself, he asks, what do you see as your time as a Texan? He said, I want to win a Super Bowl, Rookie of the Year, All-Pro first year. These are realistic for me. I wrote these down, and I'm blessed to be here to have a chance to do so. And, I just think Kayden McDonald is going to be an absolute workhorse for the Houston Texans. He's going to be able to fit in right next to Sheldon Rankins, and then we know we have the two elite edges in Daniel Hunter and our, Defensive Player of the Year favorite, Will Anderson, on the other side. So you can't double team everyone, and teams are going to have their attention on those two edge rushers, and I cannot wait to see the one-on-ones that Kayden McDonald's going to get in the A gaps and just being able to really create havoc up the middle. I'd like to see him maybe become a third down pass rusher in the future, but right now I'm sure the Texans are just going to have him filling in run lanes in those early down situations. But I really think Kayden McDonald could be a good candidate for at least Rookie of the Year. And, Pro Bowl and All-Pro, I definitely can see in his future. When DeMeco Ryans, got a chance to say his thoughts on Kayden, he said, what I like about Kayden in his tape at Ohio State is the physicality. It shows up. When he comes across the line from an offensive lineman, no matter who it was, he was knocking those guys back in the backfield. That translates to Houston Texans defense. And he's absolutely right. Texans are one of the most physical, daunting defenses in the league. And I just don't see why Kayden McDonald cannot fit right in that elite presence to really just, make an extreme impact. I would like to think from day one. So be curious to see what you guys think down in the description, down in the comment section. What do we think about Kayden McDonald? I think it's a home run pick, but everyone has their own opinions. I'd love to hear you guys sound off. Please leave a like and, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be making Houston Texans content for you guys all off season long. We have the schedule release coming out later this week on Thursday, and I'm really excited to see what primetime games the Texans are going to get because they deserve them. I think the Texans are going to make a big statement this year. Love to see the leap that CJ Stroud's going to make. I think the Texans can definitely make a run in the AFC. Before we get out of here, I'm going to talk a little bit about those PrizePick selections I talked about earlier in the video when we load the picks up I got for you guys. We're going to start off with Will Anderson. He's a common theme for the more on sacks this year, but for some reason the number keeps going down, which makes it even more lucrative to me. It started at 11.5, it dipped to 11, and now it is at 10.75. Look, I think this guy is going to win Defensive Player of the Year, and there's really nothing you can change my mind. He is the roster around him to create separation. It's not like a Myles Garrett situation where the Browns really have no one else on defense, so you kind of have to double team the guy, maybe even triple team him if necessary. So more than 10.75 sacks, it really kind of sounds like a no-brainer to me. Drake May, more than 3650 passing yards. Drake May really kind of came to life last season. Took a little bit everyone by storm. He's not going to be doing so this year. A lot of people are going to have a lot more focus on him, but the Patriots got some weapons around him, and I really don't see him, taking a step back in his junior year, entering that third year of the NFL. So I really like his more on that pass yards, and then lastly, more on 1,024 receiving yards for Trey McBride. Look, people don't like to admit it, but the Cardinals are a little bit of a dumpster fire. I know we have Marvin Harrison, but that just did not pan out, and I don't see it panning out now with the departure of Kyler Murray. And, with the arrival of Jeremiah Love, the Arizona Cardinals have a little bit of a loaded backfield, and it's going to be interesting to see really how they manage that between Tyler Algier, James Conner, and now third overall pick, Jeremiah Love. But one thing is for sure is they are not going to flush out Trey McBride in the offensive game plan whatsoever. He is a dynamite player and has been the last 2 years in the league, and I really think, just a hair over 1,000 yards in a 17-game season is kind of chump change to a guy like Trey McBride. So I really like him to hit this mark. And if you log all three of these in, put it in for $20, you'll get back $120. So That's going to wrap up today's video, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like I said, big week ahead with the announcement of the Houston Texans schedule. So make sure to tune into a video for that. I'll be breaking down just about every single game the Texans have on slate. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Peace out.